What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So let's go through this scenario. Let's say you have retired already and you're struggling and you're thinking, where can I live where it'll be more affordable? Or you're thinking about retiring. You might be retiring in 5 years. You might be retiring in 10 years and you're thinking, well, I might want to relocate when I retire so I can live comfortably. Where should you move? And where is it too expensive to live? So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here. So by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, I'm also on Twitter. You can follow me at the TEC Show Live. I post videos over there as well as I post other content. So I have a couple of different channels. So I will be posting videos from both channels as well as just some information when I get information regarding retirement and things like that. So please follow me over there. All right, let's go ahead and let me show you guys the this article here. And this is from CNBC, Make It. And it says the 10 most expensive U.S. states to retire in California didn't make the list. Now, I found this interesting because California didn't make the list. And if you guys don't know, I live in Southern California. It's very expensive here, but it did not make the list, which is interesting. So let's go down, and I'm going to look at this, and then I'm going to talk about the more affordable states to live in. Okay, so just looking at this article, and I do want to, they're getting their information from this place here, Wallet Hub. And I also want to look at how they're pulling this information. So they're pulling it from, Wallet Hub is pulling it from various agencies such as the U.S. Census Bureau and the Council for Community and Economic Research. Okay, so let's look at the list. The most expensive state to live in, and this is probably not a shocker to a lot of people or to most people, is New York. So New York is the most expensive. New Jersey follows that. Then you have Vermont, Massachusetts, Maryland, Washington, Connecticut, Maine, Illinois, and Oregon. So those are the top 10 most expensive states to live in. Now, I want to go further into this because you're saying, well, these are the most expensive. I want to know where I can actually live and live comfortably. So we're going to take a look at the Wallet Hub. We're going to take a look at their website, and they go through and they tell us each state. So they rank it from number 1 to 50th as far as affordability. And so that's what we really want to look at, because if you are retired, or especially if you're in a situation where you're struggling, you should consider relocating. And you can relocate to some of these states and maybe you'll be better off. However, I do want to show you some more information because we're going to show you the list right here. But there's also, they're also looking at other factors. They're not just looking at how affordable it is. They're looking at the quality of life. They're looking at healthcare. So those are some good things to look at. So affordability, quality of life, and healthcare. So looking at the number one, what ranked number one, and this, what they're doing is you might have a state that's more affordable to live, but the quality of life isn't as good, or the healthcare system isn't as good. So that's why that's how they're ranking these. They're ranking Virginia as number one overall. So you will have a state that one state will be the best, the most affordable, but it might not have some of those other benefits there. So Virginia, the most affordable when it comes to quality of life and healthcare across the board. So Virginia is number one. Pretty shocked. When I was thinking about the states, Virginia didn't come up on my radar, but they do rank Virginia number one when it comes to overall. Now, Florida, number two. Now, I can see Florida, especially when it comes to the quality of life. And quality of life, they got a four ranking there. And then healthcare, 28. So healthcare is not too good in Florida, at least according to this list. And then affordability, 9. Now, when it comes to quality of life, living by the beach, living in a nice climate, that would be good. But as far as hurricanes and things like that, and then alligators, for whatever reason, I'm just not comfortable buying a nice house and not being able to go out in the backyard because of alligators. I know I know I'm exaggerating, but it is very interesting when you see the houses in the backyards of some of these houses in Florida, and they have this big cage around their house, or maybe like a glass enclosure around the pool and stuff like that. And I mean, to me, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, I don't want to live in a place like that. I'd rather live in a place like Southern California, even though it's more expensive, where you don't really have to worry about alligators. Actually, you don't have to worry about alligators at all. And you can have a pool and I mean, the occasional bear, I guess a bear, you could see that on occasion, but generally if you're in a populated city, you're not going to see bears. But if you're living out in the mountains in California, you could see bears. So nonetheless, Florida number 2, Colorado number 3. Now I see Colorado being there. That's pretty quality of life 27 though. Not that good when it comes to quality of life. Healthcare 5, so that's good. Affordability 14. Wyoming's interesting as well. I've never been to Wyoming. Number 5 when it comes to affordability, 9 when it comes to quality of life, and then healthcare 38. I really watch healthcare because I think that's very important. We should be focused on the healthcare when we're seeing these numbers in the double digits. That's concerning to me when it comes to overall, and I would consider that as quality of life as well. Like, do you have, adequate healthcare services in that area? Delaware's on here. Now look at this, quality of life 33. So quality of life not too good in Delaware according to this list, but affordability is good, 6, and then healthcare is 18. Still pretty high when it comes to healthcare. New Hampshire, and we can work down the list here. I want to get down to California, and then we'll go down to the very, very bottom, and we'll see some of the places that are that come at the bottom of the list and why are they at the bottom of the list. So New Hampshire, 31 when it comes to affordability, so it's probably pretty expensive to live there. But then you see here quality of life 5 and then healthcare 7. So I think these two categories here look really, really good when it comes to New Hampshire. South Dakota 25th in affordability. That's interesting. I would think it wouldn't be as expensive to live out there, but nonetheless 25, and then 30 when it comes to quality of life, which 30, I can't do that. I can't do 30 when it comes to quality of life, and then healthcare 9. Okay, let's work down. I just want to show you California really quickly, just because California is where I'm living. And 32 affordability. Yes, that is very correct. I'm surprised it's not 49. New York would be 50, and then 49 would be California. But 32. There are some places in California where you can live, and it's not as expensive. So I'm sure that's factoring in when it comes to this. I mean, if you move further away from the major cities, it's pretty reasonable. 19 when it comes to the quality of life. 19, that's interesting as well. I would think that would be better, but 19 nonetheless. And I guess the way they're looking at this is if you are living in a beach community, it's very expensive. So not a lot of people have those options. And so that's maybe another reason why they're showing it at 19. And then when it comes to healthcare, 10. Okay, so 10, that's not bad. I mean, we're looking at high double digits. That's different. But when you look at 10, you look at the top 10. I would look at the top 10 when it comes to healthcare in those states. Okay, so moving down the list, I want to go to the very bottom, then we'll work our way back up. And then there are a few different categories down here that I want to look at too that are very interesting. So we see at the very, very bottom here, number 50. Number 50 is Kentucky. And so the cost of living is 33. So it's relatively expensive to live in Kentucky. That's pretty interesting, because just comparing that to California actually comes in better at 32 when it comes to affordability. Now, when it comes to quality of life in Kentucky, 41, that's not very good either. So that's why it's at the very bottom, obviously, but you're looking at some of these numbers is very, very interesting to see. And then healthcare, 46. So me personally would avoid that, mainly because of the health. I mean, there's no category there in Kentucky that is appealing. So very interesting. I'm going to have to go to Kentucky and see what it's all about. New Jersey. Okay, New Jersey, we're looking at 49 for the affordability, and then we're looking at 34, and then at 22 when it comes to healthcare. So with New Jersey, also high numbers. So the quality of life, the healthcare, I mean, they're high, as well as the affordability is really, really high. Now looking at Mississippi, quality of life 50. So they came in dead last when it comes to the quality of life. And then healthcare system 48, really bad numbers there. And then in Mississippi, the cost of living is 10. So they're in the top 10 when it comes to the cost of living. So I guess that's a plus in that aspect. But the other two, I don't want to live someplace where it's really affordable to live, but the quality of life is not good. I don't want that. I would want more of a balance. So let's look at a couple more here. So when it comes to Oklahoma, cost of living, or the affordability is 19. The quality of life is 47, and then 43 when it comes to healthcare. So yeah, really, really bad numbers there. The affordability is decent at 19, but that's it. New York, we know that affordability 50. Now, when it comes to the quality of life, it's 10. So that's actually pretty good. And then you have 16 for healthcare, which is, it's up there, but it's not as bad as some of the other states that we've seen. Now, what I want to do too is I want to look at this. Now, the adjusted cost of living. So we're looking at the lowest. So we see the lowest here: Alabama, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Arkansas. Now the highest: Alaska, New York, California, Massachusetts, Hawaii. So those are the highest when it comes to cost of living. But some of the other things that I think are really interesting, and I want to click here to show more. When you're looking at the annual cost of home services, in-home services, we're looking at West Virginia, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas at the lowest, and then the highest: New Hampshire, Oregon, California, Colorado, Washington, and Minnesota. So this is interesting as well. But these are some of the things that you're going to need to think about. If you retire, you're starting to get older, you're going to need in-home services and things like that. Or you may need in-home services. And so just looking at the price of that is something important to focus on. Tax, here we go, taxpayer ranking. So at the best, we're looking at Alaska, Delaware, Montana, Nevada, Wyoming. The worst, Kansas, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Illinois. Okay, and this is interesting too. Percentage of workforce age 65 or older. So the highest: Vermont, South Dakota, Alaska, Nebraska, Massachusetts. So if you're in a situation where you want to retire, but you want to work part-time, or you might even want to work full-time, this is, and then when I say that, you're retiring from your primary job and then you're working a side job for extra income. And these are the states that rank the highest as far as workforce that's that age, 65 or older. The lowest: Michigan, Arizona, Florida, Alabama, West Virginia. Museums per capita, so you guys can see that list. I want to skip down though because there's some interesting stuff here. Percentage of population age 65 or older. This is interesting too. The highest, we have Maine, Florida, West Virginia, Vermont, and Delaware. So this gives us an indication that these are people are moving to these states to actually retire. The lowest: Colorado, Georgia, Texas, Alaska, and Utah. Texas is interesting. I would think that more people would be moving to Texas to retire, but apparently not. Okay, so here's some of the interesting stuff here. Property crime rate. Now, this is just property crime, so we're not talking about violent crime and things like that, but when you're looking at this list, number one, Mass comes in number one, New Hampshire number two, Idaho, Maine, and New Jersey. So very, very interesting there. The highest crime rate when it comes to property crime: South Carolina, Washington, Colorado, New Mexico, Louisiana. Now, this is the one that I really wanted to get to because this is a deal breaker, or should be a deal breaker for some when you're looking at moving to somewhere else, or let's say you're living somewhere and you're thinking it's hard for me to afford things out here, so I might consider relocating. Or you might be living in one of these states and say, maybe I should leave this state just because of the life expectancy. So looking at the life expectancy, the highest life expectancy, Hawaii, which is no shocker, right? You're relaxing in Hawaii. You can retire in Hawaii. It's very expensive, but It's a very calming place. And I go to Hawaii every other year. We'll be going to Hawaii this year in a few months. And I actually really enjoy going to Hawaii. So Hawaii's number one when it comes to life expectancy. California, number two. Very interesting. California, although it's expensive to live in California, the life expectancy in California is much greater than some of these other states. Minnesota, number three. New York, Massachusetts, and Washington. So those are the top five. And you see there's a tie there with Mass and Washington. But that's very interesting when it comes to life expectancy. And I think Florida didn't make this list only because of the alligators. But if this is something that concerns you, then you should definitely look at these. Actually, there's 6 states because there's a tie. Now, the lowest. This is what we also need to pay attention to. The lowest when it comes to life expectancy. 46, Louisiana, Kentucky, Alabama, West Virginia, and Mississippi. And what I find interesting about this is all southern states that made that list when it comes to life expectancy. So looking at some of the other stuff that's on here, yes, it looks good, it's affordable, but you have to look at all the different factors. And I think this article did a really good job of laying out exactly what's going on all over the US when it comes to retirement. And so I want to know what you guys think about this list. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And then also share this out with your family and friends. Talk to you in the next one. Bye.